Today we are talking with Greg Martell about his career, his experience with the VA, and his views on other veterans.
My name is Greg Martell. I was a radar operator, also became what's known as a weapons tech, where I'd work with an officer controlling aircraft when I was overseas or stateside. Busiest part of my life was my year in Thailand. I got in the VA healthcare system later 90s or whatever it was because of an injury. I've been in it for all these years. I have the greatest respect for the nurses and doctors that attended to me, either up here or Green Bay, Manitowoc, but especially Milwaukee at the big VA hospital. I've had some surgeries, major surgeries. Last year I had open heart surgery. The staff was just great. Plus I had some other surgeries. A guy who went to Roncalli High School out here, Dr. Gilsdorf, they called him to do both of my surgeries on my feet and legs. He replaced my Achilles tendon on one leg and reconstructed my right foot on my other leg. If it wouldn't have been for him, I don't think I'd be walking. There's so many people who aren't in combat, who are in the military, who support the combat guys. And it doesn't make any difference if you're sitting in an office or whatever, or checking air on the tires. You never know what's going to happen when you're in the military. You're in a dangerous environment. Military bases on flight lines and loading bombs and training is dangerous. I had one good buddy. He was from Sheboygan. We were best of friends. When we got out of service, we kept in touch. And he was a drinker. And then he went through a bitter divorce, and he became a bigger drinker, and I think alcohol consumed him, and I've tried reconnecting with him, and I haven't yet. But I don't know if it was from the Thailand experience, but I know we both drank quite a bit back then.
Today we are talking with Jason Church about his career, his injury, and his experience at Walter Reed Military Hospital.
Jason Church, I was in the Army. I was a captain by the time I was medically retired. I was in the service from May 15, 2011 to July 31st, 2014. I was in Afghanistan. I was in Kandahar Province, Panjwai District. It was a difficult experience. Obviously, doing any sort of counterinsurgency operations are difficult just because of the nature of what you're doing and the exposure that you put yourself to. But at the same time, it's always a great feeling to be able to serve your country and to put on a uniform. So I would say it definitely has its ups and downs, but at the same time, it's an experience that I soon won't forget. On August 23rd, we were conducting a normal patrol just northeast of Arpov in Afghanistan, and we were actually trying to interdict some of the enemy movements in the area. And in the process, we ended up coming up onto the daisy chain of IEDs that exploded, and it ended up causing the loss of my legs. Now, luckily in the situation, there wasn't a complex ambush set up by the enemy. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be speaking to you on the phone today. We were fortunate enough to be able to pour down off the area and get me off on a medevac quite quickly. I'm fortunate in the fact that I've seen a lot worse in injuries. Obviously, there's been people who have not come back, but I've also seen people who have suffered injuries that I consider far more physically altering and life-altering than mine. It was good. It was a wonderful experience. The way they set that place up was fantastic. It's basically one-stop shop. You have physical therapy. Obviously I had surgery there, but you had physical therapy there. I could live there. It was really well done. One of the things that's often overlooked is there's a lot of the family needs that sometimes aren't taken care of. My parents were flying back and forth. Just little stuff like taking a taxi back and forth from the hotel to the hospital, stuff like that. There's nonprofits that would help do little things like that.
Today we are talking with Dennis Denk about his career and his time during the Milwaukee riots and the UW-Madison protests.
Hi, my name is Dennis Denk. I was in the Wisconsin Army National Guard. I was in from 1966 until 1972. I got out of the Guard in 1972 with the rank of Staff Sergeant. I was never deployed overseas, but we were activated 6 different times. If you recall, back in the 60s and 70s, we had a lot of civil unrest in Milwaukee and all over the United States, rioting for their rights. We had the rebellion against the Vietnam War. Most of us were probably in our early 20s. And the scary part was here we saw the entire city of Milwaukee in shutdown. Picture the streets of Milwaukee completely bare at night, no cars, nobody walking, just a total shutdown. If there was anybody on the street at night, you had to be there by permit, where the police department would give you a pass, so to speak, to be out. Our job then was to be out on the streets during those nighttime hours to make sure that curfew was observed. It was different in as much as Milwaukee had far more potential for violence than the University of Wisconsin. Our main job in Milwaukee was to assist the police in just keeping the university open, protecting the buildings. Our role in Madison was pretty much just be present, form a security line around many of the buildings of the college. If you can picture a line of soldiers side by side with rifles and fixed bayonets. We were not given live ammunition in Madison because we didn't anticipate that being the case. In Milwaukee, we did carry live ammunition, and we were locked and loaded in case there was a need. We felt like, is this what America is going to be? We were not in a war-torn country, but it appeared to be that way. Violence in the streets. Are we going to be able to raise a family and find a job and work in peace, or are we going to always have to be looking over our shoulder?